My question is, why won't people put respect on Mr. Speedwagon? Because Mr. Speedwagon is pretty much the whole reason that the JoJo characters even won most of the time. Except, what is it? Steel Ball Run. That was took place in a whole different universe, so that doesn't really count. But in the main universe, part one, after uh the main character, I forgot his name, he went to that alley looking for the red something. He was looking for Dio or some information about Dio, and he fought Mr. Speedwagon. He lost. Speedwagon lost because he's not that strong, but like he's still a nigga. You know what I'm saying? He had the hat. You know what I'm saying? Boomerang shit, spikes, and cutting niggas and stuff like that. But after he lost, he became friends with the main character, the JoJo character for that part. And after that, he came with JoJo, part one JoJo, to his crib. Well, where Dio was at, and they confronted him. Part one JoJo was starting to fall for Dio's tricks, but then Mr. Speedwagon was like, "Hey, yo, homeboy, that nigga lying. Dio is lying, bruh. Because as a nigga who's been in the hood, I can spot a nigga who's lying. He didn't say nigga, but he can because he's black. I don't care what nobody says. Mr. Speedwagon is black." But anyways, Jojo, part one Jojo was like, "Huh? Nani?" And then whooped Dio's ass. And then, yeah. He didn't really have any more relevance, I think, after that. But he did help. They didn't really kill Dio, but that's spoilers. But they didn't really kill him. He just came back, I guess. Like he came. They made him stop doing what he was doing for a little bit, and then he came back at the end. And then he came back again this season. Man, it's weird, bruh. Like, it's weird. That nigga took JoJo Part 1's JoJo's body, and it was weird. But in Part 2, Speedwagon was more like a nuisance. No, nuisance. The fuck? I can't even speak. More like a hindrance. Just, he was being a naughty boy. Well, they found the Pillar Men, but if they didn't find them, none of the things that happened would have happened. But since they did happen. And him and the German army did kind of fuck it up for everybody when they freaking gave Cars the UV light. You know what I'm saying? Made him the perfect being. They did fuck it up for everybody, but then part two, JoJo had to step in and be the main character, and he whooped his ass. Not really whooped his ass, just outsmarted him. Even though, how are you gonna outsmart the perfect being? Doesn't really make sense, but it's JoJo. It's anime. It's just anime. Part 3 JoJo would have died in Part 8 if it wasn't for the Speedwagon Foundation. Because, literally, in Part 8, the main character, Jolene, Jotaro's son, Part 3, JoJo, literally went to jail, right? Even though Part 3 Jotaro, could have literally bailed her out, because I know that nigga got money. He's literally, like, he, he, I know since Mr. Speedwagon is such a close friend to the JoJo family, he had to have wrote that nigga the will when he died. Like, ain't no way that did not happen, but I digress. I don't even know what that word means, but niggas say it all the time when they trying to move on to something else. So I digress. And a nigga lost his whole talking point, but he would have died because his, like, there was the villain. The villain put Jotaro's soul stand into discs, not dicks, dicks pics. Yeah, dicks pics. He put them into a disc, two discs. So basically, Jotaro's body was just a lifeless corpse. But if it wasn't for the Speedwagon Foundation putting him in a freaking water and poking that nigga with tubes, he would have died. And if it wasn't for, what is it? If the Speedwagon Foundation wasn't there, Jotaro would have died, and the evil nigga would have won. Because if it wasn't for Jotaro being there, still being alive after the Speedwagon Foundation saved him, I guess. You know, those kind of Jolene and the Speedwagon Foundation. We don't talk about Jolene; she was stupid. But after they brought him back to life, he came in like, "Why stop bullying my daughter?" Pow 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 pow, and then beat him, right? But then we went back in time, so it was weird. There was time travel at the end. So after he beat him in the future, he went back in time, right? Because he had time abilities, the main villain, right? He could turn back time and go back into time. That was the whole plan, to turn back, to make time go fast so everybody can see how they die, and then reverse it and hope that everybody, since they know how they're gonna die, they live a good life and know when they, since they know how they're gonna die and when they're gonna die, they're gonna live better, something like that. But yeah, he turned it back time to stop Jolene, what is it, Jotaro's dad from the beginning, the first time they met. But that didn't work because Tennis Boy with a hat took Jotaro's stand. I think he got the disc. I don't know. He took Jotaro's stand because he took the disc that Jotaro's stand was in, and then he put it in his head, and then he took the stand, and then he got the stand. It was weird, and he was a ghost. I think it was weird as hell. But yes, if you know JoJo, that would make sense. But anyways, this was a long video. I just wanted to talk to people who I don't know. Peace out.